Okay. Next question. We're going to grab here. Let me get this off the board. All right, my dear. Okay, a biography's primary purpose is to blank, but it is also considered. Okay, so let's look at the first choice. Biography's primary purpose is to what? Be factual, but it is also considered creative? Or is it to inform, but is also considered persuasive? Yeah, I can see where you would think that this was difficult. So now this is where you have to go back into the lesson. And there's a little bit of text in the lesson that gives you the clue of what your answer is here. Okay, and I'm going to put the text up on the board. Okay, it's in that little box. It's in the lesson, on the little box. It says, "Did you know?" So if you're reading this text from the lesson, what do you think the answer is? Look at the text that I put on the board. It says biographies are also considered to be persuasive. This is because the writer is trying to convince you that his subject is worth reading about. Yes. Okay. So when you get to these questions and it seems like, if you're not clear on what the answer is, go back to the text in the lesson. The chances are is that the answer is going to be somewhere right there in front of you. Okay? You don't have to get these questions wrong. You just have to take an extra minute and give yourself a chance to find the information. Okay, let's see. I think that... Nope, we do have another. Okay. All right, another question for this lesson. Which of these are reasons to read a biography? To satisfy a curiosity, to experience a sense of adventure, in hopes of finding inspiration. What says you, my dear? It is all of them, yes. If your biography's purpose is to inform and persuade, right? So if you're informing, then you're in satisfying a reader's curiosity, right? Biographies, we already established that, they're written about well-known figures, right, that have interesting accomplishments in their lives. So you're definitely going to experience a sense of adventure. So if you know those first two are reasons, then you can deduct that the answer is all of these. All right, so that squares you up for this lesson, okay? So you should be able to go back in and make the corrections for the biographies lesson, and you should be able to come out of that with earning 100%. Let's take a look at the poetry versus prose lesson, okay? Okay, first question that I see that you need to make a correction on. A writer might choose to reflect on a person or event in a poem rather than in an essay or report because, okay, now this is one of those times where if you're not sure, then you need to go back into the lesson. So I went back to the text and was able to find the answers. Exactly. Yes. Fantastic. Very good. All right, let me find another question for you. Got a little tripped up with the questions regarding the Star-Spangled Banner. All right, what does the Star-Spangled Banner symbolize? Okay, look back in the text. It's under the section of symbolism. All right, as soon as you read what's in symbolism, you should easily be able to find the answer. Exactly, yes, the country's strength. Very good. Okay, so I want you to know that I never mind helping you, Tayana. But if you find that, you know, um, like I want you to get into the habit of, when you get to questions when you're working on these lessons, that, it behooves you to go back real quick and, do some skimming through the reading to find the answer for the question that you're stuck on. All right, so I skipped one of these questions. I'm skipping one of these questions for you because Odysseyware has it's going to mark you wrong. You're going to pick the right answer and it's going to mark you wrong. The question is incorrect in Odysseyware. So we're going to skip one of the questions and we're moving on to this one here. How is the description of the flag in the article different from the description in the poem? Okay. So the article is Mary Pickersgill, flag maker. So you're thinking about if you're thinking about the national anthem, okay? Oh, say does that Star Spangled banner yet wave, gallantly streaming, right? So there's a section in here that gives a comparison of text. I'll put it on the board here. All right. So the first, this is when the flag was done, it measured 30 feet hoist by 42 feet fly. Okay, that's from the article. Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Obviously, that's from our national anthem. So if you're looking at these four choices, it's much more technical in the article. I would say that's a fair assessment. The description in the article is more objective. All right. If you look at the two examples I put at the bottom. The first one is the article, right? I'll put a little. This one is the article, okay? The second one, so we'll put an A for article, and meaning prose, okay? This is prose. Oh, I am not good at writing with the little marker. Yikes. And the second is an example of poetry, okay? That first question that we went over, you might use poetry instead of prose because the author wants to elicit an emotional response from their reader, okay? We already established that. So, is the article more technical? Yes, it is. It's talking about measurements. Doesn't get too much more technical than that. Is the article more objective? Yes, it's objective. Okay, it's just telling you facts and figures about the flag. It's not being descriptive it's not using adjectives, we'll say. The terms in the article do not have strong emotional connotations. No, they don't. Okay, nothing too emotional about measurements. So these are all accurate facts. All of these first, second, third choice all make sense. So then, therefore, your answer is I didn't say what the answer was. I'm trying to lead you to make the connection of what the answer is. That's correct. They don't have strong emotional connotations. The article is more objective, right? Talking about measurements and the particulars. It is the description is more technical, right? Talking about facts and figures of the flag. So if all three of these answers fit the bill, then the logical answer is what? If this one fits the bill, and this one fits the bill, and this one fits the bill, then the logical answer is yes. Thank you. Sweet Marie. Holy cannoli. All right, let's try another one. Actually, that was it for that lesson. Okay, so let's make sure you have that all written down somewhere, and then we'll take a look at the last one, which was narration and point of view. Okay. Okay. Which of, okay, yes. Go ahead, Tiana. Tiana, sorry. Okay. All right, so now we're in the narration and point of view lesson. And the first question you missed was, which of the following characteristics represent third person limited point of view? All right, so when I'm looking at this lesson, I go back up in the lesson and I find the third person limited point of view description. Okay, I'm going to put it on the board here. This is directly from your lesson. And it says an outside narrator tells the story, but the narrator's vantage point is still limited. It is as though a movie camera was following a character in the story. The reader can only see what the camera or the narrator sees. So when you're looking at these answers, storyteller is synonymous with narrator, okay? So when you're reading this, you could say the narrator uses words like I, he, and we. The storyteller is the main character of the story. Or the narrator is the main character of the story. The narrator is aware of the thoughts and actions of several characters, or the narrator's viewpoint is limited to the thoughts and actions of the main character. Correct. And you know what the key word in that answer that should tip you off is limited. Okay? That was your clue there if you needed to make a connection. All right, very good. Let's move on to another question. Okay. All right, we've got which of the following explains why an author would choose first person point of view. So which of the following explains why an author would choose first person point of view? Okay. So I'm going to go back up into the lesson. I'm going to put up on the board the description of first person point of view. Now there's also in the lesson, there's something called it's in the key point box, okay? So I'm going to put this key point up on the board for you as well. All right. So I'm going to give you a chance to read through what that first person point of view means, and then read through the key point, which is the last paragraph on the whiteboard here. I can see why you would maybe choose that, and I think it's because you're seeing this. The story is told with this restricted or narrow view of the events. Or perhaps story is somewhat restricted because the author is focused on his own experiences. So I would say that is a good answer. The correct answer is to write an autobiography. All right. So when you go in and make your corrections, you choose that. But I agree, Tayana. I think that limiting the story to the actions and thoughts of the main character is kind of synonymous with autobiography. So I definitely can appreciate your critical thinking and your analysis of what you're reading there. You're getting it. It's clicking in your head. All right. So let me put up. Let me see if we first of all. Let me see check to see if we even have another anything else that we need to tackle here. Oh, not the spinning circle of death. Okay, let me okay. We do have a couple more questions to hit. Alrighty. Okay. All right, so we're reading this passage, and then we're trying to figure out what the narrator's attitude is towards the girl next door. Yes, you're correct. Reluctantly admiring. Very good. Okay, let me grab the next question for you. All right, so this is the same passage, okay, that we just looked at, but they're asking you to identify the storyteller's point of view. Yes, it is. How did you know it was first person? This part, this one, even my admiration. That's your clue, because someone's speaking there, right? You're someone. It's like your narrator is sharing their thoughts with you. Okay, very good. Let me see. All right, that was the last question, hon. You are all squared up here. Awesome. So just go ahead and make those corrections. And then you can, I guess, move on to you have two quizzes to take. The nonfiction genres and then your Helen Keller quiz. Um, oh, and then you actually will be ready to move into Unit 4, which is awesome. All right, so this is great. I'm so glad that you came in. Okay, your grade's coming up. It's already up above passing. You're just up over the passing threshold. And I think when you make these corrections and you get some 100%, that's going to even put you in a better spot. So as you move into Unit 4, let's use this same strategy, okay? You know, when you hit the questions, you're not sure about the answer, go back to the text. If you still don't, get it, or you come back and your score is not that good, anything below an 80, you come in and you see me, and we'll make some corrections together. All right, we'll get this grade way up, all right, to make up for Part A, and you'll get finished for the year, okay? Awesome. All right. Is there anyone else, any other teachers you need to touch base with right now? Anybody I can hook you up with? Okay, let me figure out who exactly that is. I'm thinking it's probably Mr. Miller. It is. All right, so let me grab Mr. Miller and I'll send him in here for you, okay? All right, honey, hang tight for a sec.